malicious. I think a lot of Singaporeans these days, they have the opportunity to travel to other countries. So if you go to hackerspaces.org, you can actually search for the country, and you'll find that there's there's at least one hackerspace in every country. So for example, I've been to the hackerspace in China, in Hong Kong, in Korea, and also in Malaysia. But in other countries, they may not be called hackerspace. For example, like the one in this Hong Kong, they have a very funky name. It's called Dim Sum Labs. They're really tiny because they are probably like half the size of our hackerspace, and they don't make any dim sum there. I went there, I was quite disappointed. Okay, yeah, and the China one, they have other more interesting names. They call Xin Che Jian, which when translated means new car space. Okay, so they have a very various types of names. Okay. And well, a lot of people, when they see the word hacker, they start to associate us with the various malicious individuals who actually create into computers. But we actually some of us may know some very basic computer security, but I assure you that we have nothing to do with the malicious organizations like the Anonymous. Okay? For us, hacking, compared to what's portrayed in the mainstream media, hacking to us is simply like a simple modification, a clever way to do something. And for us, it's something that's meant to be fun. Okay, so if let's say somebody does something that's very interesting to us, and so somehow there's this, I can't really put it into words, but we often have geeks saying that, hey, that's a cool hack. Alright, and it has nothing to do with computers. I need to emphasize again. Okay, so I'm going to just tell you about some of the projects that happens around the world, and also some of the projects that we have done. So I shared this yesterday, I think at the Maker Fair. So well, this is one of the projects at the Hack Lab. All right, and basically, hackers, when they actually want to do stuff, they don't need a reason. A lot of people sometimes when they want to do stuff, they think that okay, you need to have a commercial reason. You need to make money. You need to actually create a business out of it. But we at Hackerspace in Singapore and around the world, we sometimes want to just do things just for fun. We like to ask questions. What if? We like to ask questions. Why not? So I think one day what happened was that somebody in Hack Lab, this was I think quite a while back when Twitter started to become very popular. So somebody asked a question: what if, let's say, the toilet can tweet? So basically, this is this one over here. I think maybe I should just turn off the lights a little bit. Yeah, so you can see it better now. So there is actually a series of microcontrollers that is actually connected to the toilet flush. And when you actually flush the toilet, okay, it actually tweets the internet. So you get a very interesting comment. So I believe these are all random strings. So this has absolutely no commercial value, or at least I can't think of any. But I think it's fun for us to actually think about, go through the implementation and just have a little bit of fun. Okay, and this was another example. This is I think an MIT where I really don't know the Tetris game. Okay, or in the older days it's called the brick game. So instead of playing it on a very tiny screens, like your mobile phone or desktop, if someone thought, okay, why not we play on the building? All right, okay. So for us, right, the hackerspace, there are many, as I said, there are many hackerspaces around the world. So typically they look very casual. Like in fact, you look around, you can see a lot of our furniture don't match. It looks very messy in a certain sense. And I think it's quite typical of other hackerspaces. I think the word to describe hackerspaces is that you don't look very sterile. You go to corporate offices, you look there, the lights are really bright and looks very clean and very tidy. So we all are about being very casual and not so serious. So this is one of the hackerspaces in the States, and you can see that on their tables and their storage spaces, you have plenty of electronics, and they have a lot of fun. Okay, this is another one. Also have a lot of electronics. Okay, and this is another one in which there's a lab and there's a lot of 3D printers. Okay, This one is another one fiddling with electronics. So all these spaces, they have people, members. Some of them are more experienced than others. Some are very advanced. Some are beginners. Okay, I myself actually, you may think, or maybe I'm actually a very awesome programmer, but actually I graduated with a degree in biology from NUS, and then I picked up computing along the way. So in this hackerspace, typically there's a lot of learning and sharing involved. A lot of the discussions takes place peer-to-peer, and also during meetups. Okay. So in terms of the topics, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to do just computer security. I mean, there's a lot of things. This is just a short list of some of them. We have meetups whereby people teach home brewing using electronics. That means you actually brew your own beer. And programming or electronics. We have one on lock picking. It doesn't happen very often, but one day somebody got a lockpick set from him. I don't think it's legally obtained from the States. And they say, why not we do a lockpicking workshop? Okay. We also have things on typography, laser cutting, 3D animation, and a lot more. So we have a lot of meetups. So you might not believe it, but just now there was actually 5 tables down here. So we actually convert our space, repurpose our space accordingly for various purposes. So this was actually a meetup that actually happened in our old hackerspace, which was on the level 2 of our shophouse. So we actually host a lot of events. So if you go to hackerspace.SG/calendar, we have events such as PhD meetup. This was a Raspberry Pi meetup, and we have iOS meetup. We also have this meetup that's called the ukulele meetup this Sunday. So we actually have events for tech and non-tech domains. This was actually one on entrepreneurship, okay, and this one was this guy from Singtel. He actually wanted to introduce a new technology, and he was actually getting interest and feedback from the public. And this one was actually a community meeting. So we actually rearranged our furniture as per required. Okay, this one was actually we actually had a visitor from overseas. He was actually a biologist, and he was into the DIY bio movement. So he was actually doing a very casual class on how to actually culture bacteria on agar plates. This, if you don't notice, this is actually a Kinect. So this one was another guy who was in town and said, okay, I want to teach Kinect. How do you actually program a Kinect? Okay, and this was one of the first workshops we had. This was Mitch Almond. He was actually doing a soldering workshop for us. This was actually a train the trainers workshop for a particular event. Okay, and as I mentioned, a lot of times we are very casual. So this was actually one of our members, Roland. He actually was so-called, that was I think back in 2010. 3D printing was just taking off, and he actually helped to actually crowdfund the 3D printer and amongst members before Kickstarter was around. And this was actually him showing Yi-Ying actually how to operate the 3D printer. This one was Hazwan. He's actually one of our members who is actually very active in in Scouts. And even though he's actually he's not in school anymore, he's working right now. And this is actually one of his juniors who actually is in Scouts, and he's actually teaching him how to actually do soldering. Okay. So this is Raymond, one of our members who actually wanted. He was actually going for a photo shoot for this school magazine, and he wanted to look funky. So he decided to find ways to look funky, and he decided that, hey, maybe I should print a very funky looking pair of specs. Okay, in Singapore, we have a lot of, a variety of food. So I apologize to the vegetarians, sorry, but some of us, we like our meat. So this is actually beef, in which we actually cook. We actually have a lot of cooking down here sometimes. And this was actually done using sous vide. So sous vide is a method of cooking whereby you use a controller to actually control a water bath. So the temperature of the water bath is actually very, very consistent. So the end result is that your beef cut is actually a very, very uniform shade of pink internally. And yeah, it's actually, it can be quite appetizing. We also sometimes, we'll just take things apart. I don't recommend the kids to try this at home unless you get permission from your parents. Okay. We also, and this was like one week before Christmas, we decided, okay, in Hackerspace, we should have a Christmas tree. So somebody said, okay, maybe we should go and buy one. Then somebody went and said, actually we should think about making one. So this is a very, very tiny bag of LEDs, and the rest of the people, they never soldered in their life before. So Dave was actually the electronics guy. So basically, we are figuring out and bumbling along and figuring out how to actually solder a little tiny Christmas tree. This was another project. I shared this yesterday. At the bottom is a very, very tiny Roomba vacuum cleaner. Okay, some of you might have this at home. And what happened is that our friend actually put it in a box, and inside he put in a very, very tiny computer, and he put in a tiny webcam and a hat to make it look like a person. So this, and basically this robot, you can control it over the internet. You can actually move it around and say hello to people. So it was actually meant to be a very, very fun project. And that was the URL of the little robot. Okay, this was another little hack we had. So we had this artist who actually woke out of here and she wanted to show her film that she created. But what happened was that the very, very big pair of speakers broke down. So it's quite sad, right? You got a film, and you don't have any audio. So started asking for help, and what happened was that somebody found a small X Mini speaker, but it was really tiny. And then so happened that we have this gramophone, so we decided to hack up a little solution for this, and it was actually very effective. Okay, this was another camera project. Powered off the Raspberry Pi, and it actually is controlled via servos, and you have a web interface. We like to spy on our hackerspace, I don't know why. Okay. This is actually a robot in which you can control using a Xbox controller. Another project that our guys did it for fun. Okay. This one was shown during the Maker Fair. Some of you might have seen it at our booth. It was actually this Lego-based robot that was going to be controlled using a mobile phone, and it has a pair of claws, and you can actually so-called open and close the claws and lift it up and down. Okay. And okay, so this was another slightly more very casual project. So the monitor was actually removed. The project is not up here. This is actually the project was at the front. So we actually have this place called, some of you might know, is the IRC channel. Okay, apologies. Yeah, and so basically one of our friends, he wanted to display the IRC channel all the time. But then it turns out that the monitor is actually lit all the time, on all the time. So what he did was that he actually did a modification. This over here is actually a motion sensor. So he programmed the Raspberry Pi such that the screen will turn off after a short while. But when somebody walks past, the screen will turn on again. Okay, this is another more interesting modification. So our main door has this magnetic lock, alright, this silver piece over there. Okay, so what happens is that normally the door is locked, and well, when somebody actually wants to leave the hackerspace, normally they have a problem finding the exit button, okay, because it's quite far on the left. So we get very lazy and tired of telling people, okay, oh, this is the button is here. So I believe laziness is the mother of invention. So one of our members started, hooking this is over here. There's actually a IR sensor. So you hook this IR sensor up, and the wire goes all the way up to this lock. So when somebody tries to leave, typically their hand will pass by the motion sensor, and you actually release the lock. Yeah, but once in a while, some people they don't get it. So we put in this sign over here, and then we tell them to fist off the door. And it's always very interesting for us to see their facial expression when they see, and then they'll stand down there and they don't want to leave because they're trying to figure out how it works. And also, let me see. This one, okay, when you have events, our magnetic lock, we want our door to be open for everybody. So we don't have a nice door stopper because we don't want to open the gap too big. Then you start losing all the air conditioning. So and then we had various so-called tools, to become a door stopper. But it turns out that for some reason, all these door stoppers go missing somehow. So we got very fed up. So one of our guys, he 3D printed a tiny door stopper. So it actually gives 5 mm of space for the door. So we lose very little aircon and people can still open the door during our public events. Okay? So hacks, talk about hacks, there's fancy technical hacks. There's also hacks whereby people when they want to nap, they don't want to get too much light. This is a very simple modification. We also have, later on you can look at the hardware room. We have a number of 3D printers. So this was actually one of our members, Bob, who was repairing this flash 3D printer. So this printer was actually donated by my teacher from JC, and it was faulty. And he was actually spending many evenings after his day job to try and figure out what's wrong with the printer. And finally it's working and it's our most productive 3D printer today. Okay, we have a very limited space, but sometimes we get very ambitious and try and do slightly bigger projects in the very constrained space of our hardware room. Okay, and we in our hardware room, members have access to various tools like the drills, like the 3D printers, oscilloscopes, and very recently laser cutter. We also have a lot of toys. You might not have missed them because they're placed really high up, because some of our friends and members, they brought youngsters along, and then they get very excited. They get very excited, and we could not work for the rest of the day. So we actually have RC toys, we have Nerf guns, and we have this UFO catcher machine right over there. Okay. And sometimes we do art-related stuff. This is one of our friends who just wanted to do something for fun to decorate the space. This is our front room window. We have also, and this is another techie project, one of our members wanted to map the movement of the haze. When back, I think 1 or 2 years ago, when the haze from Indonesia was quite awful. So the need came because he actually wanted to go jogging. But based on the PSI reading, he wasn't sure, does the PSI reading affect his locality. So he actually started this project and he started building sensors and asking around who wants to buy and actually house the sensors in their homes or their offices. Okay, so we also, as I said earlier, we have a lot to do with food. So in the front room later on, you'll see it's a front office. But we actually have parties whereby we convert the front room to a food preparation room. We somehow randomly will decide to cook. So if you smell a little bit leftover of chicken last night, because last night somebody was roasting chicken in the back. Okay, more food. And we have a party at the end of the year for either for Christmas or for anniversary, and you rearrange all the tables, okay, to actually actually host everybody. Okay. In fact, during our last year's party, we changed it a little bit. We did our barbecue downstairs. We let people eat downstairs, and then we had the drinking upstairs. And then some people discovered Nerf guns, and some people discovered RC toys. And then what happened next was that people were using the Nerf guns to shoot the RC toys. Yeah. So this was quite a snapshot of our calendar quite a while back. If you want to check, a lot of our events are free. You can check out this link. We have how to build websites. That was our anniversary calendar, ukulele. We have a meetup whereby we discuss academic papers. We have this was Cosmic Gun DIY Future was a talk by an artist visiting from Hong Kong. Okay, so well, this is a bit of marketing in the Singaporean terms, koyok. Okay, actually, yeah, this is well, we are actually not a government-funded space. We are actually funded by our main so-called revenue model. Our source of income is actually membership fees. But we actually, to be honest, we welcome anybody to come and visit anytime. And if you are financially empowered enough and you're going to hang out here like pretty regularly, we encourage you to subscribe to our membership because they really help to sustain the space. If you want to contribute toilet paper or groceries, we also are very happy. Okay, okay, that was our birthday party. And if you want to find out more, you can always talk to me after this and join our Facebook page, our group. We have a Google group, our LLC. And lastly, check out our calendar and come for our events. Okay, so after this, I will take you all in small groups to just take a look to our little hardware room. You all can just look around the space. Over there in the front, that's our quiet working room. When there are events outside, or when people outside get very rowdy and excited because of some very geeky topic, people inside can be actually work in a more quiet and peaceful environment. And over there, there's a little hangout area for our library. And on this wooden shelf over here, right, you can see our Nerf guns and our RC toys, and our various gadgets. And over here is the main area where events. And we also normally we have 5 tables in the middle right here. And we have this section is quite important for us. It's the beanbags, which in the evenings we have members chilling on the beanbags, sprawled on the ground watching anime and TV shows. And over there, the little glass table there, normally it's actually obstructed by the whiteboard which I moved to the side. That's where we actually have our food and we have little meetings with the whiteboard. And also that is where we actually have our gaming as well. We have I think 2 PlayStations, 1 Xbox, and over here we have this Wii U itself. And over there is our very tiny and very humble hardware room. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy to take any questions right now. If not, I will just lead you all in small groups to actually take a quick look at our hardware room. And feel free to just interact with some of our members. Any questions right now?
You open everything?
Okay, so members have 24/7 access, and then the space is open when the member is here. So we are kind of like open every day because typically, even during Chinese New Year, I don't know why people don't want to go home. They still come.
So they can come in the middle of the night. So.
They can come in the middle of the night. So basically, each member will receive a door pin, and then our wooden door actually has a physical key. So the first guy will need the pin and the key to open up, and then the last guy need to actually close the door and then lock the door. Yeah. So kind of 24/7, but subjected to certain conditions. Okay. Yeah. We also have I think some people they like to ask whether we have workshops. So we actually host a lot of groups, various groups like programming groups. And because a lot of times we host them for free, because a lot of times these groups they are just made of people who are just interested in sharing and learning. And I think these days it's probably not so difficult to find in Singapore, but back in 2009 it was much harder to find such places whereby people can host events for free. So yeah, we have our simple membership policy is that we allow events to be hosted here if let's say there's a paying member willing to actually host and then endorse the event. Yeah. So in general we are very open to events. The only things that are no-go right now is politics and religion because this is Singapore. Yeah.
What's the minimum age for member joining?
Okay, so right now the youngest member we have is 15 years old. We don't, when we have events and we have workshops, we don't say, okay, you need to be a certain age. We kind of treat people as equals. As long as you're not running around with Nerf guns and screaming and shouting, I think we are quite okay with you joining, I think. But so far we haven't really thought about the issue. I didn't expect so many youngsters to be here today. So maybe we should start thinking about the minimum age. Yeah. Okay. You got a question? You raise your hand.
a teenager would love this space.
Yeah. Basically, if you're curious, the only people, I mean, the corporate entity that we have for this is a private limited, but it's actually more of a community space. The only people we pay is the accountant and the cleaner. The cleaner comes in once a week. The rest of us are more or less like just member volunteers lah, very much. So compared to some of the other spaces whereby there's people like cleaning after them or managing the space day to day, we try and ask our members to take ownership of the space, to make sure the space is clean. And so that means, like if somebody leaves a mess after that, you'll get a scolding or ticking off from the other members. And then when the rubbish bin is full, members need to actually tie up the trash bag and bring the trash down, because otherwise, there'll be nobody to do it. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, if not, y'all can. Sorry, yes. Okay. So, for me, right? I call myself a chief volunteer. I'm shouldering some of the more compliance and legal aspects of managing a private limited. Because without that, as a corporate entity, it's a bit difficult to actually rent a space, because we actually rent the space itself. My day job, I actually have two businesses. One is actually a software for education for mobile learning trails. The other one is actually an e-commerce outfit selling hobbyist electronics. Yeah. So I'm not the only member. There are a lot of members helping out with various admin aspects. And when we have parties, it's really like members helping out, members organizing events, ticketing, bringing the food, bringing the publicity. So for example, I told you events. When somebody wants to book an event, so typically the booking process involves sending an email to events at hackerspace.SG, our email. So there's a team of members helping to manage that event booking process. And there are also members who actually manage our social media and do answer any query emails as well. So this is, some of our members' term, the coin this word, we are actually a duocracy. So instead of waiting for things to happen, you must try and get your hands, throw out your sleeves and get your hands dirty to get things moving as much as possible. And even I think as I told you, some of our furniture is mismatched because we got it free from someone. Somebody here, somebody giving away this 5x5 IKEA expedite cabinet and got this lobang. So then I had to rally another member to go and disassemble the shelf, and then after that we look for another member who got a vehicle. So it's a very community space whereby people help out to make this thing sustainable and a success. Okay, if not, just feel free to move around, explore around. I know it's very cramped, and I'll just lead you all in small little groups, maybe like 4 or 5, and to just take a brief look at our hardware room. Okay, and I'll turn on the